should have been recording this like all the time.
Yeah, really. Welcome to the Ground Crew podcast, y'all. I'm Ash.
I'm Elijah.
Nathaniel.
Or Alex.
And yeah, this is just where we share our thoughts on things. So yeah, Elijah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'll give myself a quick intro. Let's see. So I would say I'm an artist, an alchemist, and also medicine man. Let's see. So I met Nathaniel and Ash at a Mind Body Spirit Expo, and then I got to meet Alex through them. So yeah, I'm really, really grateful to have these galactic star friends, because I feel like I've always been on this wavelength since I was a child. Since I would say since I was about 7, I've had visions of like the worlds I have come from, how things were different, and what we're building here within the Earth plane right now. And so it's nice to actually be having a main group of people, some good friends that I can share this experience with, and we all talk about it just like it's a normal every single day thing. So yeah, happy to be here and excited to talk about some stuff today.
Ready for it to be a more everyday kind
of
Yeah. If only.
Yeah,
Getting there.
so Elijah and I, we actually met at the Mind Body Spirit Expo. Was it last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a
2 years
year.
ago.
Was it
2
It
years
was 2 years ago,
Yeah,
because
last year
I
it
was
was-
working at it last year.
Wow, it's been 2
Wait,
years.
it was in the fall?
No, it's been 2 years.
It was-
Wait, it might have been, maybe I was working
It was
the
a year ago.
February, and we met at the one in the fall.
It had been.
It was 2 Body, Mind, Spirit Expos ago, but it was
Okay.
after a year. We
But
figured
yeah,
it out.
so
So late 2024. Is that right?
It's 2 years.
Yeah, that's right. No, not quite. A year and a
yeah,
half.
so
Irrelevant.
we met at a Mind Body Spirit Expo,
Yeah.
and basically we were at one of these talks. There was a gentleman giving a talk on Maitreya. I forget his name, but
Ira, right?
yeah, that's him.
Ira Palmer.
Ira
That's him.
Palmer, yeah.
Yeah, he was giving this interesting talk on Maitreya, who is like the return of the oversoul of Christ or some such. And
Rumor
so
has it.
we just stayed after the talk, and we're just hanging out, and we're talking with Ira, and I just noticed next to me, I actually first noticed your brother's energy,
Oh, yeah.
because even though he is, he's big, his energy field is like huge and
It is.
intense, and I felt it, I noticed it, I was like, oh, whoa, advanced soul here, and then you said something about Bashar, and I was like, oh, he's a starseed, I just know it. So, we finished talking to Ira, and then we started chatting.
Yep.
And I think like one of the first things you told me was like, yeah, the reason I came to Earth was to build free energy generators.
Exactly,
And I was
yeah.
like, what? Like, no one I know talks about free energy, so I was like, we totally nerded out. And yeah, it was bromance at first sight.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, I haven't really interacted with someone who had understood exotic technologies on the level that Ash was talking about, and it was really normal for him. And so that was what pinged me at first when I was like, okay, I really want to get to know these people. And then, yeah, it's just been blossoming and flourishing ever since then.
I feel like, just thinking about it, like, we all have little specialties. We all like a little bit of all this stuff.
Exactly.
But I definitely think of you like the medicine man type.
Yeah.
I think of you like the engineer type. I feel like you are like the naturalist earth type.
That's
and I
true,
feel
yeah.
like I am the astrology
Oh,
star type.
survived.
But we all really like holding a different part of the phenomena and
Yeah,
coming together about it.
and then we have a crossover, which is cool because if we find information that maybe we're not too into, but just a little bit, we can share it with the person that is really into that and help advance that knowledge. Because y'all brought me so much information where, like, it has helped me. It might not quite be fully your thing, but then it's just really helped me to advance too. So,
For sure.
yeah, especially George, man. George stuff is always good.
George Kavasalos.
Yeah.
We've all, we were just joking. So, like, if you're into the disclosure stuff and you have followed things, then you probably know some of the name. Like Dr. Michael Sala has his exopolitics, and he has lots of guests on there. There's like the Elena Denon, Alex Collier, George Kavasalos, all these different characters, and it can get a little cult of personality. And we were joking, like, almost like Game of Thrones styles, that like, well, whose house are you with? And like everybody's got the personalities, and like I think they all have their faults too. They all have their egos.
Yeah.
I'm Mars Targaryen. I am dragons.
I mean, I give a shout out to like Andrea Martin is another name that I've enjoyed that I heard from Dr. Michael Salas, and like she's pointed out like so much of the con aspect around disclosure, and it really is like a muddying in the water when it comes to disclosure. And this year of disclosure that we've got, like Alex was saying earlier, like this quality that like we are definitely on the cusp of them wanting to tell us something. We're going to get a little into that scene, whatnot, just because that is hot right now. But like they dropped it, so they want to give us a story. They want to put the Clintons in front of it and have them publicly say something. That should be fascinating. That should be bigger than the OJ testimony. But so they want to tell us something, and so there's some kind of disclosure and a changing of the guard aligned or like being arranged this year that feels very much like a plea bargain to real, authentic, inner core, heart, sovereign disclosure. Like it's like the difference between watered down religion and true soul spirituality. And that aspect has not even been brought into the equation about the Epstein. Everybody is focused on the horror show aspect of the Epstein stuff being revealed that shows all of the abuses of power and focusing on the sexual misconduct, which is horrendous, and all of that rage and outrage at that aspect of it, like you were saying, is not even scratching the surface of the technology, the ancient secrets related to like
or history.
Like all of these aspects that are going to get into a religious zone that I totally see, and I've heard a pitch that they will use this horror show to say we can't trust the corrupt people that are hiding mismanagement of money. Let's digitalize everything and go an AI route. But that's missing a spiritual religious component that as the Epstein stuff starts scratching a little bit deeper and people realize that the whole idea of sacrificing through psychological trauma is feeding an extra dimensional entity that people are going to equate with like Satan. We've got a Moloch problem. We've got a Lucifer problem. We've got something in that zone. People are going to say, whoa, if all of these people have been doing this black magic bullshit, where are the angels? Give me my Jesus Christ. We need to get back to the God. And then everybody is going to be really ready for some ascension, some angelic salvation. And that can be a slippery slope, I think, to like a way of accepting a subservient position to a new higher being, the same way as we give our power authority over to technology or whatever the new government system is. Like as has been pointed out, when the old regime is over, there's outrage and scandal, and then we need to reset. And so we're in the midst of our modern version of that. Like the modern science fiction fairy tale is so lit right now.
It's the same old song and dance is what it is. It's like every single civilization that ever came and collapsed, someone just stepped in and took over, and then we're like, well, their shit was horrible. Like, remember those old gods? Let me introduce you to the new gods. That happened in Egypt. Yeah. Like, how many different god changes from the original Egyptians?
Everybody's underestimating the level of orchestration. When I say organization, like this is not random chaos. I'm like talking about the symbology.
It's not as random as the stars.
But the symbology, all like the symbolic elements that are infused in this dark evil shit is just like on a totally different level that is very premeditated. But there's so much that's popping this year.
So you're saying like be careful with the like manufactured heightened emotions that they're giving out, which are problems, and then they offer these like what seem like beautiful, like glowing solutions, but it's actually something to where it's like they're doing it just so they can corral us where they want us to go.
And we've really been vibing with a view that is looking at how, there's and Rudolf Steiner had the concept of Lucifer and Ahriman with a Christ conscious fulcrum in the middle that is like an old school view of this paradigm. But we have kind of been modernizing, and we've listened to some podcasts by a dude named Izzy. and the idea of
Easy and Griffith.
Moloch and Lucifer. And
Malkovich.
the idea, and it's so funny. I just learned like Moloch is actually like the term. It's a term that defines child sacrifice, and it just got capitalized, so people thought it was a being, but that is Baal. And so, and it's that which made, oh my God, when Putin said the vampire's ball is over, that has a whole nother phonetic layer now. The vampire's ball. But anyway, the Baal creature is the Moloch creature, is this one version of evil that is based on destruction. And there's another version, another evil archetype of Lucifer, which is dazzling and false light and more orchestrated. And it's
Lucifer stands for the.
And it's also not the. It's definitely not Christ. It's Lucifer, but it's an archetypal equivalent of another end of evil. With again, there's a moderation in the middle, a temperance that is the Christ conscious inner heart core, all that stuff. And it's like we're trading this Moloch age for something Luciferian, but it's also like the Luciferian is a middle ground on the way to Christ consciousness. And so it's, who's got it all figured out? I don't know, nobody. But we're all poking around at it.
You can only tell the time.
You can only tell the time.
I feel like people will wake up. You'll notice the differences.
Taste the flavors.
You definitely be able to tell the difference between something that is inherently good and something that is falsely being inherently good. Claiming. Like I said this, I always go against anything that claims divinity. If it comes down and it claims divinity, God never claims divinity because he is divine.
As soon as something wants to take on a superior status as a higher being, that screams space Nazis to me. Anything that wants to have you cast in a subservient place as less than. And there's just so many ways that religion has done that in different ways. The slippery slope we've got to lube through on the way to these gods and extra dimensional beings, I think, is the AI technological side. And so I'm curious what that's going to look like for humanity. I feel like we have that coming. Like there's going to be a reckoning of dealing with the digitalization of currencies and technologies and just a push to like transhumanize things or whatnot. But like, I don't think it's going to last that long. Maybe I'm like full of hopium.
No, I don't think it's going to last.
I don't think it's going to last that long either.
I think that because, even if you take China for the example and their social credit score system, there's more homeless young folk out there than anything else because it creates this whole surveillance state ability to turn off your way of living or life at all. And when you're packed into a city like most of them are, where do you go? You can't go out to the countryside because the Chinese government owns all the countryside and they'll kill you. They've been building cities out there for years that are just empty with nobody in it.
Whoa.
And you're like, why are you building cities for? Like, there's so much stuff with, like, China always wants to keep everyone close and in the surveillance schemes of things. And are we going to go that same route? Like, technocracy would totally take us that same route. Digital currency, digital ID, tracking everything you do, no matter what. Like, where's the liberty and freedom in that? But it's for your protection. That's like giving your jailer a gun for your protection.
The same way there's different ET civilizations running different cultural programs of experimentation through different human collectives. I've heard it split and articulated that the Chinese Eastern side of things is aligned more with the AI technological experiment. And then our Western world through America and everything is aligned with the more Luciferian side of the experiment, which trails into Galactic Federation, Nordic type synthetics, and the God being. And the Eastern is experimenting, playing with the AI God being, and it's like a Tinker Toys for control. But I also think that it's just like just like the stars and the timings. It's an arrangement and a season of a karmic timing to dip into all of that technological stuff so that we remember the problems and have the same, like, oh shit, we gave our power away to technology flash. The same way we are collectively right now having the, oh shit, we gave our power away to the royals and the, authorities, the hires. It's all of that kind of wake up flash that's like,
who claimed divinity, by the way. All the royals
Oh, yeah.
claimed divinity.
well, claiming a higher than.
I'm appointed by God.
The technology, the solution that I don't know, I like to look forward to the most is connected to the sun. I always dip into the soul consciousness of organic, natural things, being like that's what we come from. We are, well, this reality is all naturally orchestrating, organically putting out. And so we have planets and stars and all of these things. They're living beings. They have timings and growth cycles as well. And whatever is stirring on this planet, the microcosm and the macrocosm of what energies are awakening and transiting in our solar system, the sun, if the sun does something like that, that's the sense of salvation I see for technology. That if there was a calling to return to a natural, organic, luminous state of soul life in tune with the planet, something solar could eradicate and spark, flash off whatever technologies become invasive. It's almost like
plasma beats
it's like,
everything.
Yeah,
Rock,
plasma beats
paper,
everything.
scissors,
It's like
plasma.
an antibiotic. The
Yeah.
same way you take an antibiotic to get rid of bad bacteria in the body. I feel like something with the sun would wipe out any type of deleterious technology. Although I do like to put a plug in
It
for like
also goes in with
the good technology, like organic.
goes in with the like Malachian or this evil. All these low frequency beings can't survive in high frequency, which is light, which is natural sun. So the more darkness that they can stay in, the more darkness they can be in, the more power, the more things that they can do in the dark. If as soon as they come to the light, they have no power anymore.
Yeah, if we're gonna think about Moloch Ball and Lucifer, Moloch Ball is definitely Team Dark, and Lucifer is like
Team
the bright
Moon,
and shiny
baby.
one. It's a false light. It's a light.
I just reflect the sun. I'm not really the sun.
Dark
I just
side of
reflect it.
the dark side of the light.
I'm that light in the darkness that guides you away from the true light coming.
Yeah, I think technology, ultimately, we will remember that we have these abilities within us and we don't have to do these things, outside ourselves, externally, that eventually, ultimately, human beings, we can do everything that technology does and more. I mean, it's just like Jesus said, all these things you can do and more. And there's already people waking up around the world. There's the podcast, the telepathy tapes, where people are realizing that a lot of autistic children, when you think they're not actually listening or being present, they are. It's just that they're not physically located in their bodies. And they're
so
actually
higher that they can't actually perform inside of a lower frequency body.
Yeah.
So what's coming out of them isn't what's really going on.
I get it. All of this articulation is a lot of minutia.
But and now there's the Psy Games conference. There was I think the first one was last year, and now there's another one this year in Charlotte, North Carolina. And there are people just coming out of the woodworks who had no idea that they were telepathic or telekinetic, and they're able to teach people with their eyes completely closed and eyes taped over with eye mask on, to see with your eyes closed. First, apparently there's like these windows behind your head here or here, and you can shine a really bright light, and apparently doing it in sunlight can help activate it. But once it's like activated, you keep practicing, and eventually you get to the point where you can see with your eyes closed in full color, and you can see in full 360 degrees, which you can't do with your eyes open.
Yeah.
And they're able to teach this, especially to kids, almost instantaneously if they're open to it.
Yeah.
They're also learning that belief systems have a huge part to do with it. I just remember hearing, I forget what podcast or something to do with telepathy tapes, but one of the parents of one of these kids who was getting taught they call it mind sight, so the ability to see with your eyes closed. The father, now the kid didn't even know the father was coming into the room, and there was an adult that was teaching the kid, and the adult saw the father coming, and he put his hand on the doorknob, and just him doing that, all of a sudden, the kid lost the ability to do it. And then they told the father, wait, can you leave the room? We just want to see something. The ability came right back. So that was very fascinating. Something I've always suspected is that
it's like the father's belief system of it not being real was influencing his, or he was like agreeing to not believe in it when it's
basically
it goes back to your childhood again, where you would wake up in the middle of the night screaming about a boogeyman or some shadow figure, and your parents come and be like, it's all in your head. It's all in your head. That's them casting a belief system on you. So then anytime your parents come in, that stuff would just disappear because you're no longer in the mind state of your own fucking reality.
Your own little astral bubble. You're in a mix.
I never left that astral bubble. I was always like, yeah, it's definitely not in my head. Like, when you see it from the time that you were in a crib to beyond, it's like, okay, well, there has to be something there. And I didn't buy the excuses or the explanations. And I just started researching more and more into my own. Because, like, obviously it has to do with something. Like, there is two planes on this world. We may not see the other one, but it is here.
Yeah, that's why it's so important. Like,
you can see it.
It's so important who you surround yourself with, like as friends, and who your like everyday people are, because like literally the people around you can almost, well, they do affect your outer limits of what you're capable of and what your belief structure is. Like when I'm performing magic, like we'll say manipulating, alchemizing reality to what it is that I am trying to get it to do. Or not trying, I am commanding it to do. I have to be very mindful with the group that I'm with or the people I'm surrounded by. Because if there's something I go to do and someone has a belief structure that I can't, it's going to affect my ability to do that. And I've seen it multiple times.
I'm going to be straight up.
That's why I only tell people that I can. Okay.
You talk about, I don't know what you mean when you said you talk about doing magic and all this, but magic and ceremony and all this, I know we think like doing this, that, and the other to like get money, well, I don't know, all the different things we can try to manipulate. As I've even heard it articulated, like when we are trying to impose our will or our coven or our group's will upon reality to make something happen, that it's all black magic, and it all comes with a tax and a price and all of that stuff. And it's like when someone was asking, what is white magic? Like, I don't, like, aligning your, I think the closest I can come up to what white magic is aligning your will with the overall will of love and good and all.
White magic is
you don't
natural.
have anything that's, like, there's no ego
it doesn't
in it.
cost anything.
There's no agenda in white magic.
No.
You're not trying to.
No,
you're not
you're not
to get
trying,
anything to
You're
happen.
not imposing on others in white magic, and you're not taking from anything. So only things that are freely given, and only things that are within your will, and not to go against anyone else.
You can't infringe on anybody
can't
else's.
infringe on
It can't
anyone
be
else's
on
free
anybody
will.
else's expense.
No.
It cannot be at the
So
expense. of
when you
another
start
person.
to get groups all together, it becomes a fine line between gray magic and dark magic. And again, Luciferianism is a lot of gray magic. Where like,
the more
sure,
people
yeah,
involved-
well, we won't kill you, but we'll take your blood. You know what I mean? Well, how much of my blood do you need? Oh, we're going to need it continuously for a while. Like, blood magic, all that other stuff is definitely a part of it, and it goes into the gray. Where then you have Malachian or Baal, which is full-on sacrificial. Like, we're killing the soul, the body, we want it all. And then we'll give you this.
I think acts of willpower that empower yourself, that are not at the expense of anybody or environmental things. I think there's something, it's got to be in harmony and in symphony with everything, and it's got to just be for yourself. Someone made the point like, well, if I use my willpower to like work out, I'm like imposing my will on the world. You're doing it for and with and through yourself, and it's not at the expense of anybody else. And so in a lot of ways, the mechanics of why and how magic works, and we're starting to find out that apparently black magic bullshit has worked for a long time, But the reason it
Or
works
super.
is on a calculation system that the black magic bullshit always creates a tax and an expense that those parties are in the midst of their reckoning with. But that's like, I think I know enough about it. Like, I don't want to try anything. I don't want to do any magic because it's above my pay grade to an extent. I want to make sure I don't know, just like my own soul activation or.
Yeah, well, words are spells and
All
spells
that
are magic,
jazz.
so there's different kinds of magic.
Oh, yeah,
I think we're talking about
They've
like
had us
kind
all
of-
casting spells unconsciously
Yeah.
through what we've been saying. You know,
our
a lot of
language is
stuff.
magic. But yeah, so there are people remembering their magic, and so some of the most powerful people I've seen, there's a gentleman who can shoot electricity from his knuckles. They're the most humble, like old soul people. They're extremely loving, and they really don't have any interest in like proving it to anyone or showing it off or anything like that. So yeah, it just reminds me of like the light side of the force and the dark side of the force.
The
Neither
Psi
one was
games.
good.
So you brought up the Psi games, and so the Psi games is going to have people practicing and promoting telepathy, the telekinesis, pyrokinesis, all the
Mind
different,
sight.
all the stuff. And the fun thing that segues into seeing that the documentary on the Secret Space Program we just watched, A Lifetime of Silence Behind the Green Door, all the government programs are scouting for that kind of talent, for people that have psychometry where they can touch an object and tell you what's wrong with it, or for remote viewing, or for psionics to be able to call out and get something, bring something in. So all of those things, like I think the Psi games could be a potential recruiting
No, it
ground.
definitely is.
Yeah.
And but then things, weird stuff come out like Call of Duty. Apparently Epstein was in touch with it. I mean, the video games have been. Yeah, but that too.
His account was live on Fortnite for the last few weeks.
I know exactly. The idea that Epstein being alive, being found out by the Fortnite handle being the same is like wow. But the idea that these games have been incepting and recruiting in this mentality too, and now we're getting into what that documentary showed. Like there was one campaign from the Air Force and the Navy, and it was like it's not science fiction. Like they are seducing new recruits with the technology and the space Star Wars glamour.
The 90s were great.
And and that documentary showed how all of these skills are real, and the government has been recruiting them for assets to go along with their fancy technology and crafts that they're getting from non-human intelligence. So like it's all connected, and that's the fun. The web of Epstein in the middle is that it's so much more than just the horror show of blood and death and all of that. It is the science. It's the UFO thing. It's time travel weirdness. It's everything.
Yeah.
It's
Weirder than you think.
What's cool about it becoming more mainstream, like you're talking about Psi games or the telepathy tapes, is then you get to the belief seeding. That's what's starting to happen is where, like what Ash and I were talking about last night, is there's a 4-minute mile where they thought it was humanly impossible, where no one could do it, like your heart was going to explode. And then when someone did it, everyone started doing it. Now high schoolers can do it.
It goes over the whole once one person does it. It's
so
just
once
because
telepathy gets popular now,
and it doesn't even have to
remember.
happen within you. It doesn't even have to happen within a region of you. Just like the monkeys who are watching.
100 monkey.
They're boom! All of a sudden they
Yeah.
start doing it across the world. Never interacted, never knew.
Yes.
But
because
the
it's
shared
into the
thought.
collective consciousness.
Yes, it goes right in. It comes right up. It
Yeah.
goes to somebody. Like you never have an original idea.
Exactly. And then the
Same time you have it, so many other people have the
Yes.
same idea.
And the thing is about humans is once we learn something, we really, well, a good percentage of us, we really like to advance or like push our boundaries on what is possible. And so as we get a collective group of people that are doing this more and more, someone's going to be advancing it, someone's going to watch them, and then we're going to be just constantly leveling up with that process, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've leveled
super
down a
stoked.
lot. We used to be up here.
Yeah,
and then
100%,
they got us knocked all the way down to
Yeah.
here. Because this whole, like, that's
We've gotten. I mean, I think
the operating in the lower frequency thing, and we kind of I feel like we brought that upon ourselves.
the idea that we are less than, like the idea that we are these small little peons instead of these soul infused, like omnipotent beings of reality, like everything is. The idea that we've
like all sons are
corralled and conditioned into a very finite, limited package. It's a contracted situation where everything's gotten compressed into a much more less than version of acceptance. But
Yeah, George is always harping on this, that, in the New Age idea, in the spiritual community, and the ET Starseed community, humans were often thought of as kind of the bottom of the barrel, or like the barbarians of the galaxy, we're not civilized or whatever.
So they tell us.
But in truth, and I like to think of it as the law of one density, so everyone says we're in third density, and fourth, fifth, and sixth are higher densities. But technically, if you look at the physics, if this is the most dense dimension that we're in, the third density, technically we're in the highest density.
So actually, you operate here if you're lower. In fact, you can't operate inside a body here if you're in fourth dimension.
We're in the highest compressed, compactified
closest
density.
to diamond. We are the closest to diamond. If you're that dense and that compressed.
Yeah. So I always say we're actually
go to Emma Frost style next.
You got it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I actually say I like to say that we're actually in the highest heaven right now, and we've just made a mess of it, and then we've been made to forget that we're in heaven and that we're
because I understand about the whole lie of all the space people being like, they're horrible, ratty people who kill everything. Well, then why do y'all want to be here so bad?
Yeah.
Why do y'all want to come here so bad?
Because it's a commodification. I think the incorporation of planet Earth, the idea of,
I'm agreeing with that.
The idea of a syndicate of corporate entities with ET components that is keeping the planet corralled in a false matrix of, surrealism and postmodern. I think there is that. There is
I think Fight Club was right.
And the idea that we are, I don't think that humans are necessarily special, because I think there are humanoid things all over. Yeah, it is a sexy idea that we're a complete fractal and everything else is partial fractals, and that idea. And it may be. I think that there's something, I think this process happens everywhere throughout, but something about being on a planet as it's growing through its Christ conscious awakening, if there's a Sophia Christ element to the earth that is awakening into its diamond luminosity, and we are the beings inhabiting it at the same time, going through that same crystallization, then we are representative of the extent and an apex of density that has gotten so far that it's right before that diamond compression breakthrough. And so there's a lot of energy that could be harvested at that point. And so there's a very popular propaganda campaign to keep milking us in our amnesia. It's like we are ancient advanced souls, but it's like we're being treated and taken advantage of like geriatrics at a nursing home.
Take your pills, go to bed.
Because our humanity and even our babies and children are being siphoned through psychological, all across the metaphoric spectrum. We're being siphoned and mind controlled and things so that we don't wake up to who we are, because we are so close. The timetable and the cosmic galactic solar timing of us waking up is so close at hand that's why it's getting louder and louder. Every campaign to try to stop you from agreeing to that, they want you to consent to a contract of a different nature where you have a new authority that you have subscribed under. Because there is a choice to source from within at point coming. As you realize and wake up, there is a point where you can source from the heart soul. That's why there's all these other sexy, seductive campaigns to don't look there. Don't look inside. We've got your answer right out here behind the next curtain.
So, and by doing
sponsored by McDonald's.
By doing that, you mess with someone's life force. Like, that's a theme of
it's all messing with our life force.
You're giving yourself the branding thing The branding thing is a real big one for me. Like, people on their brands. You gotta, I only buy Under Armour brand. I don't buy this brand. you're branding yourself. Like, do we forget what dark magic does with branding? Well, if you didn't know what dark magic did, then you wouldn't even know what branding was all about.
That's true.
And that goes into a lot of this shit, too, that came out of the Epstein files with people with brands on their hands, and some of the people who are stepping into new places with brands on their hands that they've been catching. And these brands being brands to Luciferian belief systems and other things like that. Branding means a lot.
Branding does mean a lot, and it's how you can control how someone's psychologically magnetized. And as I sit here, I'm wearing a gold gym shirt, and you're branded for the Pleiadians. But so like everything
Go Ariat!
goes for a brand. But brands are artificial archetypes. And so we are all in some way branded and aligned. Like we all have our favorite archetypes, or ones we're attracted to. And we have others that we are repelled from, or less.
You don't want to put them in a. You don't want to put them in a bubble.
You don't want to put
It's something that they. It's just like anything
They're all
Luciferian.
tools.
There is this. Oh, that is a good aspect, but it's like the whole picture isn't good. So you need to like strive for certain things and not mimic or become exactly that. I think that Jesus was even telling us that, like, don't put me as this fucking pedestal. You can do this too.
You don't want to worship
like,
a brand.
Don't turn me into a symbol. And then every church is like, cross, 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 cross. Like, you're fucking stupid.
Like, what part of my story made them think I liked crosses?
Yeah, like, that's how it ended. Like,
But okay, yeah.
you know, they started branding themselves with crosses.
So
these people,
It's like someone gets killed by a gun and we worship the guns.
yeah, start branding yourself and putting them on the walls.
Think about brands. So my astrolin is thinking about brands. It's like worshiping Mars or Saturn or the Sun or Venus. So those are all brands, and they represent archetypes of like Mars is courage and bravery and fighting, and Venus is love and beauty. And so they're all brands that we all inherently have in us and a part. If you worship one of them out of proportion to the other excessively, then it becomes bloated and the others become diminished, and then you are easier to control. If someone can control what archetypes you favor or don't favor, they can use it to steer you around, just like if someone tells you what's good or bad, they can move you around a black and white chessboard. So by telling you what brands to support and which ones not to, they're influencing how the cult of the culture is developing and spinning. And so it's about recognizing all the flavors and not getting bound or fixed into worshiping any one singular part at the expense of the other. Yes, it's it's the part at the expense of the whole that breaks the system. And I think
the best thing about a chessboard is the king is the weakest one on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep that in mind. If the king is the weakest one on the board, the one being like, I am the ruler, everybody else can move multiple spaces and take more things. The most powerful being on the whole board would be the queen, who's free to move wherever it wants.
Yeah.
Like, so who's enslaved? Is it the king or is it the pawns?
Mm.
Right, I don't know how that jumped there. It went I don't even know.
I just
Anyway, don't be a king, be a pawn. Wait,
No.
that can't be
Be a
right.
queen!
Be a
Move wherever you want!
also I just thought of the word worship. Warship.
Oh yeah,
Steering your warships. Is
Yeah,
interesting.
the worship of your worship. Where are you
That's
spending your devotion?
Yes, being up in the world but not of it.
Also, like Alex's concept the other day, he shared of the word identity, breaking it into ID, id, like from the Freudian term, your id, that raw whatever, and then an id entity. So everybody develops or constructs an id entity, an entity that's focused around your raw nature that you then give an individuality and define. That's very fascinating. So we all got one.
Yeah.
At least one, right?
Well, they all want you to have an identity when you are just an entity.
Please state your identity.
Please give me your identity. Base it all upon what you look like, where you come from, your beliefs.
Your profile.
So I can keep you in this box.
Yeah, don't change too much though, because then we can't ID you.
Yes. Facial ID doesn't work for me. I've tried, like, my ID several times. It's just funny, actually. One place I have to get my 1099s from a lot. It's like you have to take a picture of your license and then do a scan of your face. And I sat there 700 times trying to do it. And it's like, can't match.
Does not exist.
So I'm like, cool. Well, at least I don't work on that, I guess. I'm gonna have to get it mailed to me. But yeah, I was like, that's funny.
Technology.
Good. Can't recognize me.
Well, so yeah, we've talked about where we're at. I'm really curious about where we're going, and I just finished Robert Monroe's books. So the first one is Journeys Out of Body. The second one is, what's the second one? Well, anyways, he has 3 books, and the last one I believe is Ultimate Journey. And I just finished it, but basically one of the most interesting things for me, and basically he is experiencing leaving his body, astral traveling, or OBEs, out-of-body experiences. He's going out of body, and one of the most fascinating experiences is when he goes into the past, and the earth is pristine. It's completely wild. All of nature is, fully alive and vital, completely untouched, and there's no cities. And he speaks with some of the humans there, and they're totally naked. They have perfect physiques, perfect bodies.
It's like Eden.
Yep, they don't need to eat, sleep, poop, or pee. And if they want to eat, they pick up some soil, and they hold it, and they just asked him, like, what do you want? And he thought of, like, silver ear corn. And so they squeeze their hand, and it just becomes this corn. And he eats it, and he's like, it tastes just like the real thing. And then he travels to the future. I think it's like the year 3000, and it's the same exact thing. The earth is pristine. There's no cities. In fact, at first he thinks it's post-apocalyptic because he's like, "Where's all the humans?" And the guides that are guiding him are like, "Don't worry, just keep looking." And there's just humans sitting naked under the trees, like under different trees, and they're just sitting there, and they're basically inside of these stasis bubbles that they're generating on their own. And he's like, "Are they alive? Are they dead?" He's like, "There's no one inside the bodies. They're just bodies around the planet that if you want to go inside and play in the bodies, you can do that." And he also experienced not just playing in the human bodies, but playing inside all the life on the planet. So he was inside a cloud, he was inside a tree, a fish. He was inside like a sort of cougar. And yeah, so he got to play around in all these bodies, and basically, like, the human body just becomes literally just this vessel that you can enter and leave at will, and it's basically just, it never dies. It's just, you generate the stasis bubble. You just sit there until someone wants to go, and he's like, "Can anyone go inside the body?" And they're like, "Yeah, anyone can go inside the body." And eventually, everyone plays out everything they want to do on Earth, and there's this ring around the planet. I believe it's a physical ring it's like the only structure, and people on the ring, it's basically like this train station. It's basically the last stop before people ascend, and where people ascend to, no one really knows. But once you're done playing on Earth, you just disappear, and you go into this other place, to play some
Sounds
new
like
adventure.
a science fiction movie, man.
Dude, it was
So
fascinating.
have
I
you
was
seen
like,
Rick and Morty? It's the video game Roy.
Oh yeah, boy. I'll have to watch that.
He doesn't have a social security number. He's taking Roy off grid.
I feel it. I haven't seen it yet.
But yeah, that gets me excited.
Yeah, I do think that the future, like, there's something about that Eden idea of the Earth being natural and, like, all that organic stuff. Everything that's inorganic or, like, too fabricated, synthesized, refined, constructed, all of that, all the derivatives, everything that's become derivative about the world, I could see it becoming obsolete and collapsing and getting reorganized and fertilizer for, like, new organic life. I could see everything that we can do with technology, we learn how to do through biology, with our mind, with our consciousness, with our heart, with our essence, our soul, all of that. So that vibe's nice. The idea about, like, piloting the bodies does feel a little Grand Theft Auto.
If you get to stop hopping from one body to another, though, you can play out your own scenes.
Oh, what are you doing there, Alex?
I guess at that point in evolution, perhaps consciousness is matured.
You get banned, Alex.
Like that.
The username's not
also
working.
makes me think of the concept that we've heard that like different planets. What if that planets have different environments or whatnot at different levels of frequency or density, and like so it's the idea that like at Venus, like when we look at it from our level here, it's this gas planet where nothing's going on.
because we're looking through it.
But if you shift the density frequency over, it's like a lush green, like wonderful
we're a
planet.
gas giant.
Exactly.
So I question and wonder, like, if perhaps maybe Monroe or what he saw was a version of Earth, and it sounds like it would have been more one of the lighter ones.
They're like a higher frequency lens perspective.
Yeah, so I see that with all the planets in the solar system, that they all, and I see a view through astrology, when we think about esoteric and hierarchical astrology, that the consciousness and the archetype of all of the planets has a mundane level that we're most used to, an esoteric soul-based evolution of the planet, and then like an even higher hierarchical, like 3 different tiers of how they're maturing and growing. So the idea that there's different frequencies and environments we could experience with each planet where they have a different personality and then the environment caters to people differently.
The animals all like played with you and stuff. Like they were completely friendly.
Bambi. Bambi's mom's alive.
All the birds, all the squirrels, all the animals, even ones that would normally be eating each other, like anywhere around the humans.
Like,
so this
and they were considered their. He asked, "Where are your family?" And they whistled, and all these animals just came out to play, including these reptile ones.
It's like Eden. It's like luminous humanosity or luminous humanosity. Yeah,
we're
it's
all
like a luminous
telepathic.
state. Yeah.
Not
So at that
luminous.
There's one more thing I have to.
So you're saying at that
Not to
point,
get confused.
we don't even have to be like vegan or anything.
No, there's no eating, sleeping,
We're all gonna be
cooking.
Illuminati.
Okay.
Yeah, you just
Which
if
I
you want
hear-
to eat, you eat. You can create
You
whatever
can,
food you want from any matter.
It's interesting you say that because I hear that from a lot of different extraterrestrials. Like the book I read, "Reflections of My Home Planet" from Elon, channeled by Andrew. He talks about on planet Essassani, they're to the point where they're bridging, going from physical to non-physical, so they're quasi-physical beings, and they don't have to eat, which is why they have very small mouths, and they basically just need to breathe, and they have 2 hearts to even process more oxygen, and then, but if they want to eat, and there is food in front of them, they can't eat it, and they can enjoy it, but they don't have to eat it, so, yeah, that's an interesting paradigm to think about, because I've been vegan now, man, I'm going on, I think 9 years almost, like almost a decade, and it's just fascinating to think that we could just transcend not having to, I don't know, harvest any living beings.
Consume
whatsoever.
energy.
Just
Yeah,
energy
to
at
survive.
all. But also, like,
Plants are living beings
Like,
too,
like-
man.
most
The clouds alive too, man.
Yeah, that's
That
true.
air's alive.
Like,
Killing the air.
most of my life is like, I would say I spend so many hours trying to get good food. Like, you have to cook so many meals for yourself every single day or eat at some point. So, like,
Could you
taking
just
that-
imagine tasting it, and that would be like so? Because that's where you're really getting all the pleasure from.
Yeah, it's just
eating, is
tasting
the
it.
taste. So I think you could just like see it and
me.
taste it.
it's a labor
And
sometimes.
be like, oh, dude, that's so good.
Yeah.
Like that. So it goes back to Peter Pan,
Yeah.
the one with
The scene where they're at the table?
and he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"There's nothing in the bowls, right?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Hook.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Hook.
There's
He's like,
nothing in the
yeah,
bowls.
and then he's like, they believe
Food
me, Peter.
fight.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they're throwing nothing.
And it's everything.
But they're enjoying, like, well, what are you eating? I'm eating a hamburger.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
And
kind
he's
of weird when it goes
Yeah.
into
I think when we have,
Neverland
like,
and
ice
like the
cream.
whole thing about Peter Pan,
Yes.
it like goes all the way into our whole Epstein shit too.
The fairy tale and the metaphors
And the
Now-
reality.
So I'm curious if once we reach a certain point too, you get to be like Peter Pan, where you don't have to age at all.
Except there's no pirates.
Well, yeah, exactly. Or very slowly, right?
There's no
guess.
pirates
I think-
continuously trying to
There was that
kidnap
too.
you.
this new art, and this is like an archetype.
Oh, this
it's
is
like
fascinating.
it's like heaven, but this like idea of
Native
luminous
American
being,
sex, yeah.
where everything is perfect and you don't eat and you don't age and you can teleport and like all of that is
fly.
kind of the dream.
I can fly.
That's
I can
kind of
fly, I
the
can fly.
Christ evolution. That's
Okay, And now I'm going to take it a step further. So I'm also reading this book called Plajaran Diaries by William Soldowski, but he goes by the pen name Z, which stands for Zaysan. He actually helps rescue kids from child sex trafficking. So that's why he has this cover name or whatever for when he does operations. But he basically enters into a relationship with this Plajaran woman, who apparently the Plajarans or the Plejarans are different from the Pleiadians. And so this Plejaran woman is a queen. Her name is Semjase, or Semjas. Semjas is how he pronounces it. And they go to this planet, and it's a very private planet, and the species is kind of like at the peak of their evolution, and they don't really ever allow visitors, but because she's a queen, they get this special pass. And so they're flying over the planet, and before they even land, he said, like, when he looked out, when he was looking out onto the planet, he's like, the sky was just like filled with colors, and it looked like the ground was like moving and shivering, and like basically he asked her, like, is it alive? And she said yes. Like, the whole planet apparently is like alive.
That's every planet.
I know, but I know say that.
All planets.
Okay, so
all
when they
planets
land,
are alive.
You could actually see the aliveness.
there was movement.
Yes.
So when they landed, the forest actually like
It's like breathing.
Yes, it actually
More
breathed.
alive.
Just like
Like in a psychedelic experience.
Just like that.
It's more
Where
active,
do you
more
think the wind comes from?
participatory
Yes.
than passive.
so the
Like
grass,
flowers.
the flowers, all the life
The winds are
started.
just breathing. Okay.
Yeah, basically started
Heavy winds.
moving towards them.
Maybe it's just because we deadened Gaia so much.
Well,
She's
at a
like
heavy-
all still. Like,
Or
She's
maybe
in a
we
bed.
just can't perceive it like what we were talking about because it's a different frequency, and what you're saying there is like that's a different higher
This
frequency
is
lens.
this is the
Yeah.
difference, I think, between the two planes of existence
Yes.
that are already here.
it's kind of how like
Is that
in
one of
space,
us is-
the plants look more alive anyway.
100%,
You know,
exactly.
right?
Yes.
But even the sky was reacting to their visit, and then the
It
native.
was all consciously communing. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a conscious
conscious
communion.
Does the sun rise every day because we all are up to see it?
Oh, 100%. I'm never up to see it. I'm not.
All right. So, like, what if we all just decided when the sun would rise and set? What if it never did?
Yeah.
But
That would be the whole collective mind thing, where then you wouldn't ever be living in the dark. But that starts your whole hierarchy system thing. The difference between light and night.
that just gets me excited for the future of Earth and what we can have when we finally, when we get rid of all the poisons and we fully detoxify, and then we start evolving even faster to the point where apparently these Plajarans also, they have these indoor greenhouses and they have fruit trees, and the fruit trees will grow fruit within one day. They'll grow full fruit within a day, and you can stick your fingers in the soil, and the soil actually grabs back at you.
Yeah, I mean, it makes so
Are
much
they
sense,
vegan?
though.
Are they? Do they?
Yes, they're
Okay.
vegan, and Semjas explained that eventually, once you hit a certain frequency, your body will reject meat. Eventually,
anything super dense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Pleiadians supposedly say anything with a
It's hard
face
to
and a
judge,
heart,
yeah.
they don't eat.
Mhm. But it makes sense that you're talking about these higher frequencies, that things would go so much faster. Like the fact that you can like touch something,
Yeah.
interact with it, and it will change within your hand with your own consciousness interfacing with it. Like
Mhm.
I try to do that on the daily. I don't know if y'all do, but I'll literally just be in a circumstance and I'll like I'll work to use my own consciousness to change an outcome, to use telekinesis, to
Oh, I practice telekinesis,
and,
dude.
and but I know that one day it's going to work as we're moving into these higher consciousness fields of higher consciousness, and so it makes sense by you being able to grab something, you could like literally do that or form a fruit within a day. Like
Well, frequency. When you think about what frequency is in a wave, if it has a higher frequency, it's faster. It's occurring more and more. So when you refine, like less dense, finer things are moving at a faster vibration. So everything is happening more instantaneously.
Yes. And then the thing that I've always heard is like, what's the only thing that's faster than the speed of light?
I think there's more. But
What's the one?
Gravity.
No, the speed of consciousness.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why these extraterrestrial crafts can fly so fast, is because they're using the speed of consciousness when they're moving. Because the occupants inside are interfacing with their own consciousness. So,
I mean, your thought happens way before your action happens.
oh, 100%.
So when you're talking
Move
about
figure.
moving,
6 seconds.
moving
about the
into
average.
that kind of like new earth metaphor, or like this heavenly existence where we don't need to consume. I think that's, in a sense, what's been the vampire's ball down here. And this is like a kind of George concept, but the idea that the reason AI, as we have it, won't work is that it's built on the corrupted energy source of a consumerism planet where we've been raping the coal out of the earth, the oil.
You have to pay a subscription plan to have heated seats in your car.
all of the things that are built into consuming and devour to survive, as the metaphor has been, and that we are all in this paradigm of eating. Like I tell you a story. I won't name names or whatnot, but someone that is that remembers when they first got here, and like someone that was more of an ET origin coming into a human experience, and the first time they were forced to eat, and like having a lot of time, like, no, I don't want to eat that, I don't want to eat, and then eventually like happen to have, you know, bacon or something, like being fed so that they would participate in the karmic consumerism here. But there's something that like I joke all the time, we come to Earth for the food and the sex, and we stay for the karma. It's the idea that feed on feed.
Once they start feeding you things that you're not supposed to be eating,
then you have to.
Well, they used to survive. I don't have what you need.
Sleep and pay taxes.
Now, I will say the Lyran or Irma cat people, they still do eat meat, but it's 3D printed.
Yeah.
And so they're super high frequency.
Fancy feast.
So it's not all, yeah. It's not all, you know, you can still eat meat and still be a high frequency being. And also the way
they're high frequency, but they're different than a human in their makeup, which makes them and the ability, just like a lion can actually digest raw red meats.
Raw.
I imagine it was like Christ reptilians and a little.
Probably. That's why they eat chicken. And so I still feel like there's like, again, it just keeps
it's a big zoo, and I think anytime we make a judgment that this is the right one and this is the wrong, or like this is the
doesn't work
ascended
for that
way
animal.
and this is the not,
But the highest point, nobody needs this.
Yes.
That would be the whole Eden thing, where you're running around with lambs and lions.
That 0 point energy. Nothing is consuming.
Zero.
Point energy. Nothing is.
And the way that the Plejarians explain that it's unlocked is through love. They say that most of your brain, the reason it isn't being used is because it's supposed to be filled with love or experiences of love. And so once we start experiencing that, then our abilities will come online, but it happens through love, basically. And so the main character, Z, he meets Semjas, and she's basically shirking her responsibilities as queen by being a stowaway on this scientific scout ship that's basically studying the Earth.
She's just coming to play in all the human bodies early.
She's definitely was just playing around, and then she meets Z, and she invites him onto the ship, and all the aliens are kind of like really shy and kind of terrified that like these humans are all like super violent, horrific, terrifying people, and so they meet him and get to know him. Eventually, he actually unites all these really kind of cold scientist people. He like brings out the best in them. He like teaches them about hugging. He introduces them to all these human foods. So their hugs last like sometimes 15 minutes is how long their hugs last.
Dude, that's great.
And he calls it catching up on love. So he says that you're catching up on all the love you missed. And it's just so funny that he introduces these, human cultural things to them, and then they take it to like the nth degree, and he continuously has to redefine what love is, because he keeps getting overwhelmed with this new experience of unconditional love, and then he keeps having to raise the limit of what it can possibly be, and he eventually goes on these crazy quantum beyond astral travels with Semjas, and it happens through their love for each other, which it transcends like the human physical romantic love, and it all happens through love. Like that is ultimately the way you unlock all these abilities. Dude, I mean, this is such a great. There's like 13 books out now, and he continues. He's right now having experience. He has experiences with them like every single week. He gets picked up, goes on the ship, goes on these crazy adventures, and so the books are basically just Like, he's literally as fast as he can just writing down the
Well,
experiences he's
As
having.
exciting as that is, the Epstein files have got everybody captivated, so it's going to be like a month before everybody's back into ETs and UFOs again. But no, I'm totally here for it too.
It's interesting you're bringing this up though, because the book that I'm reading right now is Masters of Integration. It's also by Elon, and in there throughout the book and where I'm at now, actually a specific chapter I'm on, it talks about unconditional love, and it talks about unconditional love. And the first part of it is like unconditional love is this thing. It is something you can use to transmute anything that you don't prefer to what you do prefer. And actually, if there's something you don't prefer, if you validate it and actually give it like the validation that expression is just as valid as any other expression, even though you might not like it, and then you meet it with unconditional love, you actually pulse unconditional love into it, it will change into whatever it is that you would like it to. And and they describe in there like unconditional love is essentially the thing that holds everything together, but it's that finite substance. And it is basically what helps.
You know what I feel is it's such a dense substance that nothing can even pierce it.
Yes.
No light, no dark. Like,
Yes.
it's so pure
The fabric of
that it's just like,
Yes.
I'm here, and it's what it is. And like, that's like, again, it goes back to the whole your parents being like, oh, in the name of Jesus or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, not understanding that that means, it's more like that. Is it's capturing that inner part of yourself and
Yes.
projecting it, which causes your inner light to shine so bright
Yep.
that nothing can darken it.
Yes. And in the book, they talk about how the way that you create your each of the frames of your physical reality is at all times you have an infinite field of possibilities, the quantum soup. And then the unconditional love interfaces with that and allows you to be able to essentially pick and choose what it is you want and what it is you're expressing. And yeah, that's fun. Being able to harness that, I think, is what we're all really starting to get into. I really believe that this time we're going from masters of limitations to masters of integration, which is why we're even having all these conversations.
And I feel like, again, I said this, I think the reason they're afraid of humans actually reaching this point is
Yes.
because we change the universe.
Yes.
We don't just change our world.
Yes.
There's nothing that can stop us.
Mhm.
We wipe the universe clean. It's
Yep.
like you go back to resetting everything. The reset that happens here happens everywhere.
I mean,
And like it just starts here.
you
It's like the pinpoint
I don't know. I would say
location.
sometimes the reset. I thought the reset's the false.
the shift. I will say the
the
shift.
false part of it.
So
The shift, what that was.
something that just came into my mind is like in a lot of movies and
The reset
shows.
goes dark
We
first.
don't want
The
set.
reset goes dark first,
We don't
then
want
the
set
car
again.
cuts to
That's
come
right.
back.
Reset, we just end up with set all over again.
Refreshed, okay?
Recrap.
If you look at a lot of storylines, when you see some of the most powerful beings, whether or not they're in a monster form or some like they're outcast, or you find these like hero type archetypes or these beings that are
They're
trying to
always the ones
help.
that are
They're all-
considered the lowest.
they're the ones who are trying to be held in captivity by these other beings that fear their power too. And so it's interesting you bring that up. Like,
I mean, even some of the like the stories in the Bible where it's actually like a story about true Christ, like love and frequency coming out of you, like Daniel in the lion's den. Did he kill anybody? Did he put anything onto anybody? They tried to kill him by throwing him in a lion's den, but his beliefs and his belief was so strong
He's tuned in.
that the lions were like, "Oh, hey, what up, dude?
yeah.
Like he's one.
Like
you're
what
one
you're
of
talking
us.
about with the animals,
Yeah,
right?
you're
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
us."
Yeah,
And
he
like
walked
they
with
just
Christ.
they open up the doors. He's just hanging out with lions, and they're like, "I thought he would have been dead." No, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego tried to sacrifice to Baal. So strong, didn't burn alive.
Yep.
And like every time it gets to that point, it seems like this is a reoccurring theme in history. They just go right back to being like, "Oh, but remember what we could do under Baal with money?" Like, what do you mean? Like you started
Not
advancing
big
out.
money.
Yeah, you started advancing out. You fucking can't. They just keep coming right back. And I feel like that's where we're at with like the whole second
Is this
coming
why they're
of
trying to get us
Jesus.
to want the 90s again?
Yes.
Remember the
Nostalgia. Remember? Remember how good it was in the 1800s? Remember?
Yeah, we had all our problems and we just ignored them.
Remember? We wiped out other civilizations and erased all existence. Remember?
I really like the movie Cloud Atlas is still one of my favorite metaphors for the generality of like consciousness peeling out of enslavement, like different levels of it. And that seems like, I mean, people think about slavery being a thing of the past, and then it's like, I feel like we're waking up to like, it's happening right now.
Oh
There's
my
like
God,
literally
it's everywhere.
extra dimensional syndicates enslaving this planet right now.
We're alchemizing.
Yeah, but let's not focus on that. It's just about the child stuff, okay?
we're alchemizing the slavery of the multiverse, basically.
Yes.
And
All of it.
we
That-
were
the whole
freeing ourselves
concept.
as above, so below. Like, we're just realizing that if we are the above, if it goes the whole opposite way, we've been participating hard.
I love this view a little. It's a little kinky. Hold on, but the idea that like we all get to play like in this body where you can like go around do whatever you want. You know, it's like you get these lifetimes to do what thou will, as
So
Aleister
activism.
Crowley says. But love is the law under will. Love is the foundation. But you have this experience where you just do whatever. It's just like an experimental board. And slowly over process, you touch enough hot stoves, you learn and you get burned, you find out. And part of that learning process is that anytime you try to exert control over another party or get ahead at the expense of others, it actually hurts yourself in the long run because it's all one. And this is a Scorpio lesson. The Scorpio archetype is where you do that. is where you try to have power over others until you realize that it's just about self-regulation and mastery and control. And so all of
That's selfish.
all of the elites and everybody. I think we've all had lifetimes playing different versions of slaves and slave masters. It's like, man, you told me, I was the kid last time and you told me what to do. And now I get to be the parent and tell you what to do. And it cycles back and around between being subservient or being an overlord until you realize that I don't want to have power over anybody else. It's about integrating again and investing. When you invest together and you put your energies together to work towards a unified goal, that's a collaboration. But you should never try to force another party to do what you want or all that, or it backfires. And you have to learn through whatever amount of soul evolution it takes.
And I think right now we're on the chapter in the human becoming of figuring out what it is that common goal is that we all want to focus on. Because I see all this energy building up in the world right now, and people are...
What's the purpose?
Yeah, people are spewing out all their emotions, and people are pointing fingers at each other. And I think the best thing we can possibly do is us all to continue to have conversations.
Screw your emotions. Let's have a fucking conversation.
100%.
That goes, now you're going to get yourself shot like Charlie Kirk, man! You can have an opinion on but the thing that he really stood for that I think was great is that he wanted to have a conversation.
Yes.
He wasn't willing to say that he was not willing to say he was wrong, but he has belief in his system and his belief in his faith, and if he can prove you wrong through that because it's right. I'm not saying that it was right, not saying that it's wrong, but no one's perfect, right?
Yeah.
And only through conversation can anyone ever grow.
100%.
So if you refuse to have a conversation and only buzz a point that somebody fucking told you and not have a conversation or see a broader aspect or picture, we'll never grow.
Exactly. And something my brother helped me to understand, and I don't care who you are if you don't quite get this, but if you have heavy emotions because you're talking to someone that is so different from you and you cannot emotionally regulate yourself, then that means you need to work on whatever is going on inside of you, because you can't be confronted with someone who has a completely radically different lifestyle or opinion or perspective, and none of us are going to get anywhere like that.
Who in all the in the whole aspect of it, it does not matter. All that matters is how you treat each other.
Yes.
So if you're gonna harp on that, they just don't agree with my point of view. Well, your point of view right now is the same as my point of view. Because I'm looking at a totally different wall than you're looking at when you're looking at me.
Yeah.
So I go, this room's green, but behind me it could be blue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Or if you're colorblind.
or colorblind, you're lost. You just screwed. Just give up.
So and that's what makes this world, this Earth right now, beautiful. Is that we do have different perspectives and different preferences.
And you can't
the
be
world would
afraid to hear
suck,
someone else's.
dude, if it didn't. Yeah. So, yeah, we've all got to work on doing better about being able to have conversations with people who are just different from us and not pointing fingers. Like, let's figure out the common mission we all want to work on, and let that be the glue that holds us together.
We hear so much with especially AI and the idea of like we all need to be into a collective hive singularity.
No.
The
We already
mission,
are, though.
We are, and look where it's getting us.
in
Nowhere, man.
in the structure of the astrological wheel, when you get into esoteric and hierarchical astrology, the planet Earth is there opposite Sun, and Earth is at its soul level embodied in Sagittarius, which is about that the soul level of the planet Earth is seeking truth. It's seeking to put things together into a big synthesized whole picture meaning. But then at a higher hierarchical level, Earth is ruled in Gemini, opposite Sagittarius. And the metaphor there is that the highest function of the planet Earth and the Earth nature is to enhance and increase variety. And so the idea that we're trying to lock everybody into a singularity so that everybody's the same or not different, everybody's got to be the same, is bullshit. That's the dark side of Aquarius. But Gemini, Earth ruling through Gemini, is about variety and like lots of life, lots of different, diverse plants, animals, species, etc. But we are in this age of Aquarius that when it started is arguable. But the biggest hand on the clock in Aquarius is Pluto now. And I want to tune everybody into a reminder that Pluto is the dark side, king of the underground, Hades and all, that will have us intensely excavate and purge everything in the theme of Aquarius. And Aquarius rules groups and organizations. It rules technology, AI, science. It rules UFOs, ETs. And it rules astrology. And so the dark side of these things, the dark groups that have been involved with dark ETs involving dark technology and dark utilizations of astrology, all of that's surfacing right now. The hidden history and the things that are purging, we're going to have to face the dark side of Aquarius before we purge it into the light. The same way we had to churn Pluto through Capricorn for our worldly leadership, we got to churn through the scientific group sector to get to that golden age. Like the Aquarius sign really is about the golden age of humanity, but the flip side of it is very like communist. Everybody get in line, get in your box, fall and conform. Like that's a side of it. And so there's a dark, shadowy, manipulative veneer that has to be scratched away from that Aquarian archetype right now that's trying to lock things in, but ultimately, it is a soul evolutionary force that is exposing. Pluto churns up the dark side of the soul to expose that which needs to be eliminated and transformed so that we can transcend our limitations. And it is going to be golden and luminous and brotherhood and all of these positive virtues on the other side, I really do think. It's just like there's a little bit of a dark plunge to wade through as things circle the drain. But it'll be fun to say. I mean, this is a huge year. Obviously, we're only in February, and it's already popping with wildness.
Yeah, I hear that after this eclipse, though, things are going to be popping real hard. Because that's the start of the... It's almost like the match hitting...
I think it starts to uprise. I'm still curious to see where the one on the 12th of August or whatever crosses.
Interesting.
And let's talk about the future things this year that we've all heard and been buzzing about. Because you brought up... There's a solar eclipse on February 17th. And guess where it's over? Guess where it's featured? Antarctica.
Oh, yeah.
Is there some hidden stuff that could use some kind of stellar exposure?
Yeah.
So that continent is getting that eclipse.
Wow.
There's also March. What's the March stuff?
March 20th.
Are you talking about there's Saturn and Neptune?
Oh, but that's an astro. Oh, that is February 15th. That's like right around the corner.
You're talking about
Neptune and Saturn go into Aries and conjoin.
Okay.
But didn't they just conjoin by the moon? Just like
something's about to go.
They're so close. They're so close. They're not yet.
For March, you're talking about the when the Regus, the star. What is it?
Regal
March 20th, yeah.
It was
It's
around
supposed
that
to-
time.
So that's getting to the Chris
Supposedly
Bledsoe thing. The ladies' prediction of Easter for 2026, which is right around the corner. There's also the Chris Bledsoe green orb that like people have said was 320. So there's something about.
I can't even remember where I heard March 20th before that even.
The
happened.
Izzy and the Mel stuff. I think there's something
that's the end of the Kal Yuga.
But that was
It's
last
the
year,
whole
2025.
Right, it's the whole year after. So this is where you're really starting to see the change set in.
So we're supposed
to be like a very big unveiling because it's like a anniversary of the start of the new year, which also it would have to go off of whether like your astrological calendar is working off of Chinese or Eastern or Western, right? Let's put it that way.
They're all going to be
because like it is the start of a new age for the Chinese calendar, right?
There's lots of different metaphors. Yeah, the
so
fire
like,
horse.
that's just another calendar. So
it's lots of cults. It's lots of cultural experimentations.
I like to look at it all in a big
They're
picture.
all psychological operations, and they're all working in like it's like the gears of different people's calendars and clocks and psychological belief
different
systems.
magic.
To
do it.
There's a lot of magical culminations happening this year.
What I'm most excited about is disclosure, like full disclosure happening this year. As far as like not only disclosure with extraterrestrials, but also a lot of what's been going on within the government. And a lot of us know these things or have talked about them in private. From my understanding, what I've been shown and hearing is this year we're going to have actual physical evidence come out into public media, and it's going to be shared with us. You know, this stuff that we've been wanting for so long that people are like, I think a lot of people have actually
the crafts.
Yeah, and people have actually given up hope. There are actually all these like funny like memes or jokes people are putting up that like all these people are going to continue to get away with stuff. And I think the reason why we're fatigued at this point, we're past our point, is because we're at the end of it. It's like when you're running a marathon or you're doing anything, the time when you feel like you're about to give up is right when the breakthrough's about to happen.
But the fatigue, like if you're talking about like some MK Ultra psychological pro-ops, you traumatize something until it's about to give up, and then you give it a treat.
Yeah.
So they've got everybody beaten down by the fatigue of all this dark shit, so that when anything,
so
they sparkle.
You're all right once.
Anything that's going to sparkle after this, which is the danger of some false disclosures along the way. But I do think like the same way they threw us some of these files, they're going to throw us some of the craft of biologics or something. And I heard somebody related to some Trump say they think that President Trump's about to do a disclosure. Maybe so. Tomorrow's the Super Bowl, and it's worth to throw out there that the whole color scheme being suspiciously close to the emergency broadcast system is kind of weird. And the halftime show dude singing songs that are going to translate to things like blackout and black dog have some interesting metaphoric possibilities embedded. So there's a lot of magical things happening this year. Are they all in our best interest? Maybe not.
Good magic.
But they are in the interest of waking things up if you're in the spirit of being woken up.
Yeah.
If your consciousness is primed to wake up, then it will. But if
We're
you're
primed to be programmed,
or if you're more, if you've been farmed for more harvest, you might. But so February eclipses, big
Then there's
astrological
August
stuff.
12th.
March, April.
August 12th, there's another eclipse.
The summer has the Disclosure
I think it's the
Day
longest
movie
one.
where they're going to feed us what they want us to believe through Spielberg. Or that's the plan anyway. I'm hoping something hiccups or farts before then. But there's lots of junctures that they want to get everybody on an emotional up and down roller coaster of whoa, what's real?
So that they can feed off of your emotion and get you to make decisions based off of
and then
emotion.
steer the emotions. If you can get somebody toggling in the binary code of the black and white emotions, then you can move them around your chessboard into the positions you want them to occupy. That's how the game
you harvest their life force. It goes back to the Matrix, the movie The Matrix.
King doesn't.
And it's like they talked about using humans as batteries. That's literally what they're doing, is they're using us as batteries to fuel their narratives that they want.
Well, they need energy to do this black magic and this shit too. More than just energy that they can get from sacrifice, but you get way more energy out of belief. So if you start hearing this and believing it, you're putting all that energy into it. And then as you see it happen, they can just give you something that may not even be real. It could be AI generated. But your belief is so funded by this that now that gives you validation. It makes you put all this energy into this thing.
Yeah.
And that makes it
belief is an investment. If you
Yes.
will believe in it, you invest, and then if you can agree and consent, that like the more of that they get, the more the energy is
pay for the next
utilized.
tier.
Yeah. It's interesting you bring
Pay
this
for
up.
the next tier.
So the book I'm reading right now, again, the Masters of Integration, it talks about how your consciousness trickles down into physical reality is through what's called the beta prism. Beta is beliefs, emotions, thoughts, and actions. So it literally trickles down that way. So the belief is the template of physical reality, and then you power it,
With
like
an
you modulate
emotion.
the wave with the emotions, and then your thoughts
Direct
help to
thought.
amplify it, and then your actions complete the process and actually shift you into that version of reality you want to experience. And so if you are literally manipulating and harvesting someone's beliefs, emotions, thoughts, and then you steer them to take certain actions, you literally get to change which way the narrative goes. So we have to persevere and be very vigilant of our beliefs, emotions, thoughts, and actions, especially when they're being affected by something from people who are just pumping this stuff out into things that we can just scroll on our phone. It'd be different if it was happening in everyday life and in the physical, but from what I've experienced, life and community, it's great. The only time I get into the doom and gloom really is
If you're online
on
doing
the
it.
fucking phone, dude.
I'm in Facebook
Oh my
community
God,
right
I'm
now.
so-
I'm
I'm
so
so-
much fun. I'm dying.
I'm so enraged. Life is so bad. It's so hard. No, it's not.
Everyone
Harsh,
sucks.
It's fucking beautiful. Get off the
I
fucking
say
street.
that.
Look
Be
outside.
with your people or be with yourself, and just move forward.
Just watch our podcast.
Yeah. Or other podcasts.
Yeah, I've said
Watch your
when
trash
you watch-
reality TV shows if you
when
want
you
that.
watch the news, everybody's probably got an older relative, coworker, friend that still watches the news, and everything I hear from my people that watch the news is all the horrible, sad stuff that makes them feel bad, and all of the bad news about things that are happening outside of their actual life that they feel some type of way about. They're knotted up by all of these feelings presented to them about things that are not in their vicinity of environment, and it's not in front of them on their path. If you turn that off, all of that static stops affecting your field and your life. Like you said, I'd say everybody's life is probably a lot better than all of the messaging that's coming in about it.
100%, yeah.
That we don't even know is true.
Again,
If something's happening in some other
No,
country, the
like,
way some
no.
horror story said.
But unless you're there to see it, that's why
You
there's
don't
an
know what the
age-old
story
saying:
is.
don't believe what you see on TV. The same
Dude,
thing on the internet. You
there's
can't
some-
believe everything you read either, because it
99
doesn't. I could be writing a fictional story that you know nothing about.
99% of what you're seeing and hearing and listening to on the Black Mirror is happening so far away that there's literally no way to validate if it's true or not. So it's just based on you just deciding to agree with it. So they can broadcast whatever reality they
But my
want.
friend who lives there totally says it.
Oh
My friend online who lives there totally says it.
So yeah,
And it gets
Create
even
your
more
own
nebulous
reality.
with all of the AI stuff.
I know.
Dude, that's the
How and why
scariness of
there's
it.
so many stories that are propagated by, they're fueled by agendas somewhere. There's an agenda, but
So
We
the
wanna-
key is to create your own reality
Yes.
and
find others that you can co-create with.
Oh,
that,
yes.
that you can create a beautiful
And-
reality with.
create love and connection and friendship and invest your time
How
with
about-
your people,
how about
friends.
mole and all that create your own reality stuff can get a little fantasy, I create my own reality, and then you get hit by a bus.
You're
So-
under arrest. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
So,
This isn't my reality.
the idea, I think the aspiration to mold one's reality in an integrated form with reality's true nature. I don't know. I never splitting hairs and semantics, but
So in
that
other
you
words,
can't create your own reality exactly, but
focus-
we're participating in one holistic reality, and we want to integrate into it authentically.
yes, focus on being
Yes.
a creator, not a victim.
Yes.
Being a victim's not going to help you out at all in any of this stuff that is ongoing and what is about to come up, especially like.
And we each have to choose to be the
Creator
sovereign
content?
creator
Get on TikTok.
rather than the victim.
That's not real content.
Yeah, that was time check. Do we want to bring it
Yeah,
to
I
a
think
close?
this is
or-
I think we're about good.
Good way to
Yeah.
close off.
Well, thank everybody for joining in and
Yeah, thank
listening
you.
to us ramble about weird stuff.
It was
Yeah.
good to have you here this time.
Yeah, it was so
Yeah.
good to have you, brother.
If y'all have any topics that y'all would like us to discuss and it's something that we're familiar with,
Great
like,
idea.
please put anything in the comments and let us know what you'd like to hear either more about or subjects, things that you would like to hear about at all to begin
Yeah.
with. So we would
Yeah.
love some feedback on that. Yeah.
Yeah, great idea, Elijah.
Mhm.
Awesome.
We got plethora of information.
Yeah, we got plenty of stuff.
That was
We
what
can
you
do
wanna
a
hear
lot of
us ramble
talking,
about.
so
Yeah.
we got the talking part.
Yeah.
Cool.
Love y'all.
Until next time.
Peace.